Hello, hello. All right, we are going to talk about moving forward with intention. And one of the things I've been hearing from a lot of individuals, my one-on-one coaching clients, some community members, is that they obviously are not happy about why we're in the pandemic we are, and the self-quarantining, all that, but they're actually seeing a lot of benefit from it in regards to anxiety and stress levels. Like, I have moms that are concerned about things going back because they've actually been enjoying not having to take their kids to a bunch of after school events, or people not having as many eating out and social engagements that tend to mess with their healthy habits. Maybe people are currently at home and they're cooking all their meals and they're really enjoying that. And what I want to do is I want to propose a thought, because we're going into week 6 of our self-quarantine. I think almost all states are still doing this. I want to propose that we do a little bit of intentional planning moving forward. So one of my clients gave me a great visual. She said before the self-quarantine, it was like we had a table. So imagine a table. The table is covered in boxes. Each box represents some kind of an obligation, right? Whether it's taking your kids to sports events, whether it's grocery shopping, whether it's visiting your friends for lunch. We all have these obligations on the table. Self-quarantining came along and swoop, cleared that sucker off. There's nothing on the table. Hopefully most of you are getting to go grocery shopping once a week, but that's probably about it. So what we want to do is, all that stuff is on the ground right now. We want to think very intentionally about putting in boundaries on what we want to come back. Maybe you feel like what you were doing before was too much, too busy, pulling you in too many directions. I know I do. And I am really refining right now what our family is going to go back to once the self-quarantine is lifted, once we're given permission to go back to doing things the way we've done them before. And I don't want to put all my boxes back. I want to refine what I'm doing to not necessarily help me support my weight loss efforts, because I feel like I was able to do that before. But for me personally, it's to reduce some anxiety and stress over all the different buckets or balls I was juggling in the air. And I've been enjoying, especially this last week, a lot of the downtime for reading, for thought, for introspection. And so I'm going to be a little bit more intentional, and some of those boxes aren't going to go back on the table, okay? So what we want to do is think about, what is it you and your family want to see moving forward? So let's just say we're in this whole self-quarantining thing for another couple weeks. Do you want to go back to doing all the things, the volunteering, all of those aspects, or do you maybe feel like some of that was draining you, right? So pay attention to how you feel having no obligations. Think about how you felt having all the previous obligations, and just make sure you're doing what is in your best interest. A lot of times we get stuck doing things because we just said yes, right? Yes, I'll do that. Yes, I'll do that. And before we know it, our whole table was covered in boxes. But now we get an opportunity from going from one extreme to the other extreme to now say, if I built my life with great intention, what would I choose to change? What would I choose to leave on the ground? What would I choose to put back on the table? And maybe for you, it's like, okay, I still want to see my family and friends. Maybe I'll make one appointment per week to go do something out for dinner. Maybe I'll have my kid, instead of being in 3 different things, maybe they'll just be in one thing, right? Like, this needs to be a family discussion, but it needs to be well thought out, because my concern for everybody is, when this gets lifted, what does it look like for you? Because if you don't give it any pre-thought, you'll end up back in the same situation or worse than you were before, because now you're kind of going through this almost like coming back out of a withdrawal, right? Oh my gosh, I haven't gotten to do or see or whatever. And we want to be cautious not to run yourself ragged the other direction either. It's about finding balance. It's about finding a new place that is just enough of the old and enough of the new, that it allows you to be healthy, well, sane, and not as anxious, not as stressed, and actually have the life you want more intentionally. I hope that helps you guys have a great 6 week, and let me know how you are continuing to make some progress, and also share what would you intentionally be thinking about doing once this is all over. I'd love to hear it. Talk to you soon.